Hey guys, Hunter here, back with another episode of Mischief TV, and today we're working on the vet. Hello everybody, welcome back if you guys are returning, and if you guys are new, I'm Hunter, as I just said, and you guys are watching Mischief TV, and this is my 84 C4 Corvette that I got over a year ago now. I've had it over a year, and that's crazy to believe, but it is true. And we've done a lot to it. So if you guys are just new, just now seeing this video for the first time ever, make sure you guys go back and check out the other videos. They'll be up in one of these little corners. Go check them out. A lot of fun videos with these. Done a lot of work to it lately, and we're gonna do some more this week. So I have a very small list of things we're going to do to it. Before I dive too far into what those things are, we need to get it started up and get the vet moved over to the garage. So let's get it fired up. All right, step one of getting it fired up is making sure the battery's connected, which I've just done. Just primed the carburetor, made sure everything is closed up on our Holley 650. Everything under here on this beautiful 350 small block is good to go for the firing stage. Now, if you guys haven't seen the other past videos, a very quick recap. Like I said, this is a very 350 small block, mild cam, mild lifters and springs, Holley 650 carburetor with, I believe it's 36 or 32 squirters. I'll have to look at my notes for that. But we went through a whole video on the carburetor itself, and I will link it in the description. Make sure you guys go check it out, because it was a lot of nightmare tuning onto this thing. But we finally got it timed, and we're going to start it up. Inside the car is very simple. A dink, fuel pump, choke, let it run for a second. Right up. Woo. And boy, is she angry. Crap, crap, crap. Start off this shit show, we are going to replace these two rear deck speakers that look like crap, play like crap, and don't sound very good. Now you might ask, Hunter, where did you get new rear deck speakers? Did you go buy new speakers? No, I did not. That is actually where last week's video comes into play. If you guys saw it, and if you didn't, go check it out. It'll be in one of these little corners like the other one was, and it'll be in the description, so make sure you guys go check it out. But we traded our 212 drift cart. We had a nice little fun drift cart. If you guys saw those videos, you probably did, because those did really well. A lot of people seem to enjoy the drift cart. I know I did. But we took that drift cart, right? We had lots of fun with it, and we traded it for 3 sets of subs. We traded it for a 15-inch WDX, is a 2,000 watt sub. We traded it for a 12-inch kicker comp. I believe it was just a comp kicker at about 500 watts, and then we had a 10-inch kicker comp C at 400 watts. We actually traded that furry for these deck speakers, these kicker ES deck speakers, really fancy in their own boxes, that we're going to put in the vet. I also traded for some paintball equipment I'm probably going to use later, but we are going to put these deck speakers in the vet. Now, this was a pretty good deal for that little sub, and I still have the other two, so hopefully we can do something with them. Yeah, it was a little bit different from our past trade-up videos, but it's working towards our main project, which has always been the vet. So we'll keep that in mind and throw these speakers in. But first, we have to get them out of their box. So let's do that. Okay, so the plus side is that one of these is already out of the box, and the box has equipment that I can just take with these boxes when I go to sell them. So go me for that one. This one we have to take out. So we'll just very carefully. Now these are pretty nice carpet boxes, so I probably will list them on Facebook, see if anybody wants them, because I don't really need them, but I do want the speakers. So the speakers are going to go to the vet, and somebody else can have the boxes. So there are 2 speakers out of their boxes. Now let's put them in the vet. Alright, so from what it looks like, I have to take this carpet out a little bit for the first time ever to get to these speakers. So you guys are gonna go on this trip with me. If there's any dirt or anything back here, you guys are gonna see it with me. I haven't looked yet, not looking. Okay, so definitely a little dirty. and some of this sound deadening is going to go. So I'm going to untuck some of the other carpets, like over here where I need to take them out around the speaker real quick, and then we will take these speakers out and do a little bit of cleaning. Alright, in case anybody was wondering, this is what your Vette looks like if you rip out all the carpet. It's got a bunch of weird sound deadening foam in it that looks freaking ancient, so we're gonna rip that out. That looks like it's been in here since '84. We're gonna rip this stuff out. Bye-bye. And here's one speaker. And this one is still wired in, so I can't really just throw it out because I need to know which one's power and ground. But neither of them were really connected, and you can see this one's all cracked as well as that other one was. So, okay, so there is speaker wire over here. They just chose to route a wire all the way around from this speaker. You see this mess of wire? It was run all the way across to tap into that one, instead of just splicing into the sound wires. That's what I'm gonna do. So little time lapse of me ripping some of this stuff out. If you guys are curious about the wires up here, these are the wires to the voltage gauge that I had for the amp, so we'll tuck that away. And I am going to hide our fuel fuse a little bit better now that we can take the carpet out. So we're going to start the time lapse of taking this stuff out, turn on some funny music, some fun electro music probably, because I enjoy my little bit of an electro swing. I might steal some music from Dawid. If you guys haven't seen his channel, make sure you guys go check it out right here. It'll also be linked in the description, because there's definitely going to be a song stolen at some point, because I very much like his music. I say stolen, but it's technically borrowed because he gets all credit for it. So let's start this time lapse. Okay, quick update. I've got one speaker set in here. They are 6x9 slots, but it looks like the holes are a little wonky, so I'll play with that. The wires are still connected. They're actually just sitting here since I showed you guys last, but I've decided I'm gonna pull the carpet out of the rear. It's pretty easy. It's in 3 pieces. 1, 2, and 3 I already have out. So we will go through and try to clean some of this up. I'll figure out how to vacuum it up, clean the carpet a bit, might try to restain it or do something with it or get new carpet, but we are going to go tub. Now, I wasn't originally going to go tub with the Corvette because I like the red carpet. I do like the carpet, but it's very dirty. The carpet is kind of ripped and ruined, and I can probably get some new ones for not a horrible price. And if I can't, we'll at least try to fix the ones we have. So my method of thinking here is we'll take it all out, we'll clean it what we can, we will clean the inside of here what we can, we'll mount the deck speakers, keep doing everything we were going to do originally, and then come back to the carpet and see what we can do with it later. Alright, so I've got the NOS bottle removed. Wasn't connected, but don't tell anybody. We're going to take these brackets out real quick and then take the rest of this carpet out. So there's one set of brackets. I bought these brackets brand new off Amazon, and they seem to do pretty well. I mean, they hold the bottle, that's about all they do, but they look really nice. They've got a nice rubber seal on them. I think they were like 40 bucks. So nothing too bad about them. Take them off here, set them to the side. Now we get to figure out how this carpet comes out. Hoping it just nicely. No, it's gonna rip. Of course it's gonna rip. I gotta figure out how to take these blocks apart now. And then the rest of the carpet will be out. It looks like most of it just unpeels. We've got, what is this? A Rockville warranty card. So somebody had Rockville subs in here at some point. Nice to know somebody else was thumping like I was. That's cool. But shows the treasures you'll get cleaning your car. I gotta figure out how to get these locks out because I can get them this far and then they rip. So I'm gonna do a little research and we will come back to taking the carpet back out. Alright, I have figured it out. Let me show you guys how we take these locks apart in case you're curious. So this is the one that I have not done. There is a screw holding on a little mounting plate like so that holds the lock in place. If you look at the one that I have taken apart, you take that case off and the lock will slide up. You can remove the plastic and pull the carpet out from under it. There's also a bolt here that is a 6mm right here, that we have to take out to loosen this piece up here. You can see on this one, I popped that hole out as well. So I'm going to take both of these out, pull the rest of the carpet, and we will go from here. Ignore my phone going off. All right, after getting both of those covers taken care of, we can take the final piece of carpet, throw it to the side. Now we are bareback. Bareback vet. Bareback vet. We're down to the tub. So I'm going to try to clean it the best I can. We're going to take the sound deadening out of those two doors and then go from there. I still need to hook up the deck speakers, but now we have a nice clean area to do so. All right, I've magically changed hats and we got a shop vac. So we're going to take the shop vac and clean all of this nasty dirt out. You can see some of the dirt in here, all over the floor of the trunk here, all the tub, I suppose is what we should call it, the hatch tub. It's not really a trunk, but all the dirt and everything. So I'm gonna sweep it up real quick and yeah, try to make it as clean as possible. Now that the tub is all nice and clean, other than some wire scraps, because I just wired in the rear speakers that we need to test, and it's raining. But yeah, now that it's clean, we need to test these speakers. So, without further ado,
whole program, I beat it off hard, dip it down, get nasty on cam. She know I fuck her all night, alright. Turn off the lights, I'm beating like I'm like, T fucked up, go ahead, shake.
That's not bad. I'm pretty happy with that. So let's get them mounted now. All right, that was a little bit more of a hassle than it should have been, but they are mounted, and boy, do they look good. Now, I did realize they are kind of the same speakers, so instead of being swapped, the big side is on this side on this one, and it's on this side on this one. So it is what it is, but it looks very nice. So let's hear them play. All right, for our choice of test music, it will be, of course, Diggy Graves.
So what you read, I knock on the window, a voice in the wall. He finally woke up and started to crawl.
Well, hello guys, this is an awkward angle for both of us, but the reason we are at this awkward angle is because I have decided to relocate the NOS bottle, and I don't know why I really didn't do this before. Just mount it right here to the tub, and there's nothing on the other side of this. It's the wheel well. Now I do have these super obnoxiously long self tappers that were in it before, and I have these small ones that I think I'm going to try to work, but I need to go get some washers for them. So I'm going to try to find some little washers real quick, maybe not, but the idea is that we put bottle out of the way, put the bracket about here, and then we can mount it this way instead of upright on the doors. So that's what we're going to start and see how far we can get. I know this is kind of off topic, but we need to relocate this and then we'll move on to putting these wires in a wire shroud and tucking them up out of the way. I just need to get the bottle remounted so it is out of my way. So let's do that. Ta-da! Here it is. Everything's mounted up. Now, if I was to run this as an actual NOS bottle hooked up, I would have to move this bracket and raise it because the part with the nozzle is supposed to be raised. So this is for looks. Just keep that in mind, because don't go yelling at me in the comments that your bottle's supposed to be raised up and yada yada yada. That's why they make the mounts. I know. But it's just for display right now, and if I ever hook it up, we'll move it to a more manageable position and we'll raise the mount and we'll yada yada yada. Right now it's just for looks, okay? So get over yourself, right? Just don't delete your comment that you were typing and appreciate how nice everything looks. Now our next step is gonna be tacking up some of these wires, getting some wire braid for these. I need to hide the voltage gauge wires because those are no longer hooked up with no sub in here, right? So everything should fit just fine. I also realized why I never put it in here is because my sub box originally would never have fit the bottle sideways. So now that the sub box isn't in here, it'll fit. So yeah, there's that. Let's move on to the wiring and get some more stuff done. After a quick trip to O'Reilly's, I got 10 foot of this wire braid and it's done. I went ahead and did it because it's not really something I can record too much. It's really kind of pretty easy to put it on here. It's just kind of annoying, but it's run all the way to the speaker. Actually, it runs to the fuel pump, but it runs past the speaker all the way back there, all the way down, and then you can see it kind of running down here at Trace Down. So I'm gonna put the floor pan back and yeah, we made decent progress today. We made really good progress today, actually. So we will see you guys tomorrow with some more good, hopefully solid progress. Alright guys, welcome to day 2 of working on the Vet. Now today we're actually not working on the tub. We're going to move up front to the console. We're going to actually take apart this little shift panel, this piece of plastic that goes over the shifter. It's got all the little things on it. It actually has my voltage gauge in it too. It's for the wipers, and it would be for the mirrors if they worked. So we're going to take this out. Now I actually do have 2 of the screws already out. The only thing we have to do is take these 2 out, pop the lid here, and then everything should pop out. So I'm going to take these 2 out, we'll pop it loose, and I will explain what we're going to do with it. Alright, now that we have those screws out, we could, hypothetically, just lift it out, right, but it's going to get caught on the shifter, so we have to put it into neutral, which means keeping our foot on the brake, and lift it out like so. It's a bit of a wiggle job, but if your radio doesn't fall out, we can kind of sort of get it. And then I just have to unplug the cigarette lighter here and we'll have it out. In case anybody wondered what the internals of a 84 Corvette shift linkage looks like from the top side, this is it. You've got your little push rods, you got your return spring, your arms. I mean, it's all pretty normal. Looks like we have a light in here that may or may not work, and this is all going to get vacuumed as well. A lot of this is from me, but some of it's from not. So it's all going to get cleaned up. We also have a voltage gauge that we might sand down to sit in here just a little bit better. But let's move on to the big piece. All right, here we have a shift cover panel, all the plastics and new slider that we put in not too long ago, maybe 2-3 months ago. And as it sits, we're not going to do anything with it. But if we were to take it apart, and I already have the cigarette, let me kick the camera here. I already have the cigarette lighter loosened, so most of these just have a casing you spin off. And slide that out. So there's our cigarette lighter, easy enough. And then our shift cover, I'm actually going to take off because it's only got one on it. I was originally going to leave it on. This little thing here, it pops out, but it could probably use with a clean anyway, so yeah, we'll take it out, and nothing else, we'll just put it back in as it sits. And we are going to take the shift boot out. So I have the Phillips bit first. We're going to start with our shift boot, and then we will go to that. But let's see the condition of this shift boot. Now, I did see it on the car. You know, it's not in the greatest condition. You guys saw it as well, but it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just not great. So we might try to do something with it, or we might just try to fix it up a little. But here is the shift boot. I might see about getting a new one, because it is a little ripped, you can see, or we might just dye it. I'm not sure yet. But we've got, looks like a little cloth glue cover. I'll just take that off. It says we'll just take that off. Awesome. Cup holders we'll leave on here. That's what we're doing. Everything needs to be the same color. And then I'm going to go ahead and pop this off real quick. And there we have it. Shifter is out. Kind of set it to the side here. And now we're left with the big unit. So now I'm going to tell you what we're going to do with it. We are going to sand it down and paint it, actually. We're going to paint this black to match some of the other gloss black I've painted in the car. I just haven't done this yet. We really won't do much to the bottom side. There's no real cool indentations or writing, really. Some of them have cool writing. Looks like this has got some sort of signature, maybe, which is cool, but I'm only going to paint the top side, so we're just going to sand it down and clean it a little bit. Moving on to this, I actually didn't think too much about cleaning this. It's kind of an afterthought taking it apart, so I'm not sure what we're doing there, but it looks like the mounting is pretty clean. Might just hit it with a quick wash. And does this come apart? What it does. I can get in here and I can clean all of these pieces. So I'm going to go through, clean all these pieces up step by step. We'll start with this one that I'm going to paint, and then we'll move on to like the shift boot and the shifter. Y'all, I was sitting here sanding this down. I've got it pretty well sanded down. A lot of the rough spots are really well rounded. I kind of sanded this out, but I was hitting some of the final spots, and I noticed this is metal here. This little cover is actually steel. So Got it nice and sanded down. You can see all over my fingers here. But we have a loss. We have a tragic loss of the sander. The locking pin that holds the sandpaper on snapped completely. So we'll have to do a little funeral or something for the sander. A little moment of silence here. Yeah, I've had this sander for like quite a few years, so it doesn't really surprise me, but it's kind of, you know, a little bittersweet because now I have to go get another one. So I guess we're paused on standing for a little bit. I will see you guys when we are ready for paint. We are out in the paint booth, and that is because I have this all prepped for paint. And I actually have this taped off for a very specific reason I will explain in a little bit. We have a very fancy idea we're going to do with this. You guys might have some ideas as to why we're not painting it, but we will explain a little bit. And this is the hood release that's under the dash. It doesn't actually work, but we're going to paint it and possibly throw it back on as well. So let's just start the paint process here. Nice, easy, light coats. Just do nice, even, light coats. Now that these are painted black, right, we need to move on to the shift boot and the shift indicator. All right, I know that we said we were going to work on the shift boot next, but I actually got to looking at it and got some fun ideas about it, and the mad scientist is currently working on something off camera. So we will come back to the shift boot once we have something a little more figured out. We're going to work on cleaning, if you guessed it, the shift indicator, because it is very dirty. You can see all sorts of dirt and grime in here, and all the dirt that I've taken off of it already. So kind of impressive it's accumulated this much dirt and nobody's ever taken it out and cleaned it. But we're just gonna get it nice and cleaned up. I know I'm kind of coming off cam there, but get it all nice and cleaned up here, and then we'll figure out if there's anything we can do to try to polish the plastic up a little bit. Alright, I've gone ahead and got most of the dirt off. You can still see a little bit here, but most of it comes off pretty much by just kind of brushing it now. Broke it all loose with the razor blade, and now we're going to take some glass cleaner and just kind of soak up this microfiber cloth here. This is a clean one. And we're just kind of gonna give it the old bubble bath treatment. I mean, that already looks better, don't you guys think? So I will see you guys when I have made some more progress. Alright, it's a little scratched up, but with a little bit of polish for some other scratch remover, and ignore my fingerprint that I just totally got on the bottom there that I'll have to rub off. But we have some pretty clean glass. Plastic glass? Sure, we'll call it that. It's some plastic glass stuff. But I'm going to work on reassembling this now. So let's get our diddle. We'll get that back in. And also, I'm a little bit of an idiot. It slides in like that. There's a little ridge. Like that. There's your shift.
Few moments later.
Alright, we're back from the little paint shop, or little paint booth, and that's because we need to get this tape off now. I didn't really think this one through. It is dry, but I don't want to mess up the paint by any means. We need to peel this tape off. I didn't have any painter's tape. I didn't feel like going to the store. I already made enough errands today, so we used what we had. And hopefully it doesn't peel off super obnoxiously here. And I can show you guys what we're going to do next, if you guys haven't guessed it by the item that's lying to the left. Here it is, without any of that fancy tape on it. The clear, or the silver tape did pretty good, but I mean, I would have rather used painter tape, I suppose, but go get that glue residue off of there. There we go. Everything's pretty smooth. Pretty smooth. And we're going to take our fancy carbon fiber, cut us a nice little piece that fits that, and we're going to lay some carbon fiber. So laying carbon's not that hard once you got your piece cut out, and just peel it off. Get our piece, lay it straight, bring it down, start in the center, rub out. You don't really want to get the edges too pushed down, because you don't want it to stick to the paint. We're not gluing it to the paint, we're gluing it, not really gluing it, but we're sticking it to this middle piece here. So we don't want any lines, any rivets, nothing in the carbon itself. So we'll just kind of smooth it out as best we can, like so. And then we'll take the razor blade, go through, cut all the lines, and we'll have a carbon fiber cup holder lid. Alright, it is getting late, the sun is setting, so unfortunately we will have to continue this project. However, it is finished. I'm just going to wait until the grand reveal for tomorrow. So we will catch you all on the flip side. Ready for day 3? Because let's jump into it. Now, right now. Ready? Now. Alright guys, welcome back to day 3 of the vet repair, I guess. Just minor things, you know, this week, but we do need to do some of these things I've been putting off for a long time, and it's time for the grand reveal of the shift boot. We did a lot of work yesterday on the front of the car. We got a lot of things done, and we actually got a little bit more done than I was expecting to get done, and let me just show you. Alright, we're going to start here. You can see the voltage gauge sits in here nicely. All the paint looks pretty good. Actually, it looks really good. You can see how I didn't paint in here, the actual paint difference. You can actually see it pretty clearly. I still need to vacuum this out, but everything else got vacuumed and put back together. You can see the carbon on the cup holder came out really well, and the shift boot I'm very happy with. Just a little Budweiser bag that we had laying around that I actually decided to cut up in a little show last night, and my wonderful girlfriend helped me sew the seam, and it just sits right under the boot, just like your normal shift bag, and it looks pretty good. So I'm very happy with the way this came together. Very happy with it. And that only leaves one thing left on my list to do, and that is to fix our wonky fuel gauge. So this wonky fuel gauge I'm talking about, we put in about 2 months ago probably, and a separate video. It was completely just its own video about putting the fuel gauge in, and it worked for a little bit, and then it just kind of stopped working, and it's never hit full, even though I know I filled the tank up. So I have a wire crossed or backwards somewhere in the trunk towards the fuel tank, in the hatch, sorry, in the tub. I know I just corrected myself early in the video, and now I'm doing it again. But in the tub, right, there's a wire for the fuel pump, and it runs up here to the fuel gauge. Right here, you can see all the wires coming out of it. There's a wire here that we actually ran that loom over, all that wire braid earlier, all the way back. That's what that wire was. And we need to tap into that wire and make sure we're connected to the right point on the fuel pump, because I could just be on the wrong one. So I'm going to dig a little bit more into that, and we're going to see if we can't get this fuel gauge to show me that I am actually full of fuel and not just constantly on E, because that's not good. All right, so we are going to test and see if the fuel gauge itself is working, or if it's a problem with the sender in the fuel pump. So to test that, actually a little bit of research shows that my gauge is always empty when the power is on. It's always empty at the E line. It turns on a little bit, doesn't do anything. So we need to disconnect the sender right here with the power onto the car, and hopefully the gauge will go back to full. If the gauge goes back to full, there's a problem in the wiring back there in the fuel pump sender area, and not with the gauge. If it doesn't jump to full, there's a problem with the gauge, and it could be a power problem, because I'm jumping it off the tach, so I mean it technically could be that, or it could be a ground issue, or it could be that sender wire itself. So it could be the gauge is broken. I don't really know. So we're going to jump straight into testing the sender wire first. So I'm going to hook the battery up, and we're going to see if the fuel gauge will work at all. Alright, here's what happens just as it sits. We have done nothing. See, nothing even happens. So I'm wondering if it's a power problem, but we're going to bounce this sender wire off first and test it real quick, and then we will move on to figuring out if it has power and everything, but I know the tach has power, so I'm wondering why if I jumped it off of that it wouldn't be enough unless it needs that constant 12 volt, but the tach is a 12 volt, so I'm not exactly sure, but I know where I'm going to start, and that is by taking that cinder wire off and seeing if the gauge itself jumps to full or not. Alright guys, it is a new day on the vet build, and that is because I have discovered something the other day that actually prevented me from doing any more work on the fuel gauge. So I'm going to get a little bit technical here. If you guys want to skip this, a little timestamp will be like right here as to where to skip the technical stuff, but let's dive technical for a second. So the fuel gauge that we hooked up is a 240 to 33 ohm, so it's big number to small number. The fuel pump and fuel sender in the Corvette and in most GMC Chevys is a 0 to 90, so small to big. So because I'm using the reverse, I'm using a 240 to 33, we either need some kind of crossover to match that ohmage to the 0 to 90 in the fuel tank, or we order a new fuel gauge that is a 0 to 90 fuel gauge, and this one should work. Now the difference is I'm going to have to wire this one in. A lot more technical than I did the other one. I'm trying to pull the wiring out here because they're all individual wires that plug into a plug instead of mounting to the back of the gauge. So I'm gonna have to do about an hour worth of wiring here to get everything hooked up, and then I will very quickly go over everything with you guys, but it just plugs in, then I have to hook all the wires up. So the reason that my fuel gauge did not work, and the reason that yours possibly does not work, is that you have the wrong ohm rating for the sender in your trunk and or fuel tank and or hatch. The fuel pump sender has to match the ohm rating of your fuel gauge. So this is a 0 to 90 ohm fuel gauge, and that is a 0 to 90 fuel pump sender. So hypothetically, I just took up all the wires that I have hooked up to this one, and it works, and I don't have to do any wire tracing or anything because I have the wrong fuel gauge. That is my hypothesis. Everything that I found says I'm correct, so that's what we're going to start with. I'm going to literally just unmount the gauge here, start tapping all the wires in, and I will see you guys when we have something a little bit more manageable to show you. Alright, I have everything wired up here. Every wire is where it needs to go. The only thing I noticed that's a little weird with this gauge that wasn't the other one is black is actually the signal wire and blue is ground. But it is all hooked up. So if I can find a nice angle where the sun isn't blinding you guys. There we go, that's decent. Hey! That's awesome, but I don't have a full tank of gas, so not sure there, but do the lights work? Hey, the light works. So I gotta figure out why I'm showing a full tank of gas now, because I know I don't have a full tank of gas, but the wiring is done. So it's the last day of the vet build, and I made an astounding revelation yesterday. So I know I was talking about doing all the fuel pump wiring for you guys, it was just about 30 seconds ago, but I made an astounding discovery after the fact. I actually went through and I took apart all of the wiring in the hatch there. I'll show you in just a second. I went through and labeled all of the wiring and realized that my fuel pump doesn't actually have a sender wire. So I have no way to make this gauge actually work without getting a $200 fuel pump, which we are not doing in this video. We will do probably next video, so stay tuned for that one. But I'm going to show you all of that hard work that I went. And yes, I did it all off cam. It was easier for me and it took a lot less time than trying to hold this thing and do it all at the same time, but I can now explain it to you and show you how pretty it looks. Before we dive too deep, I'm going to put a couple pictures here on screen. This is what it looked like before I started this mess. There's a couple broken wires. There's a couple relays I didn't know what the names were. You know, there was just a really big mess back here. There's a couple wires that actually were really frayed and really bad. And it was just kind of a mess. And there was a lot of weird connections, no heat shrink, just really bad. So I went through and redid all of these connections, and yeah, let me just show you what the finished result looks like, and then I'll put some pictures here at the end so you can see all of the work that went through. So without further ado, let's look at the new wiring braid that is in the hatch rear of my 84 Corvette. I went through and put all new wire braid from here all the way through. I took all of these wires out and I identified all of them. Here's some of my label here. What is this one? 12 volt power. See? I went through and I labeled all of them, and it runs all the way back. We've got our power antenna relay. We've got our hatch relay. We've got our manual control for the hatch. We've got our fuel pump wiring, which is now nice and hidden right here. You can see our fuse. We've got our gauge signal wire, which is the only one I have not connected because, like I said, there's no wiring in the fuel pump. Only two wires. So I can't wire in the fuel gauge. That's just, it is what it is. I'm gonna have to get a new fuel pump, which is kind of backwards if you ask me. Like, I got a fuel gauge to read the gas in my fuel pump, and now I have to get a new fuel pump just so I can tell how much gas I have off the fuel gauge. Yeah, it's a loop that I'm still fighting since that very first video that we put out. So just so you guys know, it's not been as fun as you guys think it is. But back to this. Everything looks nice and clean. I actually got these nice cool brackets and some self-tappers from Real King. Tap right in, clean all the wiring up really nice, and they actually hold the wiring loom in place pretty well. So, very happy with that. And you can see some of my mess in here that I have to go through and clean up, and that's about it. We are working on maybe putting some few other things in the vet now that we have the tub empty, and I don't know if we're going to put the sub back in here or not, but we're going to do something with this empty space. So I'm going to get the shop vac, and let's do a little time lapse of me cleaning all of my mess up again, because I lacked out on showing all of you guys the work that I did yesterday, because it was a bunch of petty wiring. It was a bunch of stupid little wiring, and I hate wiring, so it wasn't worth filming. Let's do some fun cleaning, because that's better and more entertaining. Alright y'all, that was a little hectic. The seats up front, this front seat, driver's seat, was super dirty. It was a lot dirtier than I ever remember it being. It's probably because I never actually deep cleaned it before. So, you know, there's a first for everything here. I have cleaned the vet, but I've never actually cleaned it like this. And I figured since we were cleaning the back, we might as well move up here and clean some of the mess up that we had up front and kind of do a deep clean into the carpet. So I still have to do the passenger seat. I still have to do some of the carpet behind the seats. So we'll get to those in a second. But it's break time. It's really hot, and we're gonna crack open a Dr. Pepper. Not sponsored, but favorite drink. So go get yourselves a Dr. Pepper, go get yourself something to eat, something to snack on, and let's continue this cleaning montage. It's getting really warm out here, but the vet is coming along really well. So I'm very happy with the progress we're making so far. And if you guys are enjoying the video, make sure you smash that subscribe button, make sure you smash that like button, and let's get straight back into it. Ready? Now. Tasty. Now we're gonna move on to hiding these fuel gauge wires. So you can see I just got it unplugged, and we've got all these extra wires and really nowhere to put them. And my solution with the last gauge was to just tuck all the wires in here, and I probably could shove them back in here, but I want it to look a little bit cleaner than that. And I found a very fancy gauge pod that somebody like 3D prints that you can put in one of these. So I'm gonna see if I can't get one of those down the road. But for now, we're gonna kind of prep this for that gauge pod vent installation by just coming in here, and we're gonna cut. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but there's fan blades in here for the vent. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna cut the third one down, probably cut about an inch out of it completely. So I'm gonna try to do this without cutting through any of my wires. All right, there's one. Hey, it just came out. All I had to do was cut it. That's nice. It's pretty nice of it. All right, now we should just be able to shove these in here a little bit more professionally. Shove, shove, shove. I'm just gonna get to shoving, kind of get everything tucked in here without too much strain on any of the wires, and I will see you guys when it looks prettier. So I cut this vent out here, got all the wires shoved in, and it looks pretty good. Now it only has one screw mounted in it, so it is tiny wiggly, but it is what it is, and it's very clean to the point you can see my reflection in it. I mean, even the tack's not that clean, so hoorah. As soon as we get a signal wire built into a fuel pump assembly, and we get that put into the vet, and the fuel gauge will be working. So hopefully we can get a fuel pump with a sending unit here pretty soon for the vet. Otherwise, we pretty much achieved our goal of getting the fuel gauge working. It just doesn't work because there's no signal wire on my fuel pump, right? But it does work in the sense that it has power, it has ground, and the signal wire would in fact work. I have grounded it out to test it, so the gauge itself does work and is wired in, and it fixes the problem of the old one not being the correct ohm. So at least we made progress there, but I am a little disappointed that I have to go get a fuel pump to make my fuel gauge work. So we're gonna have to figure that one out. Alright guys, it is Monday, the day before we post this video, and the day before you guys are hopefully seeing it on time, and if not, it is probably a couple of days after. But it is the last day that I have to film this video, and then I have to mass cram a bunch of editing in to get this out on time. So, the last thing we have to do after we did all that fun work in the last couple days, did a lot of work on the interior, a lot of work in the hatch area, not really much in the engine bay. That's because we did a lot of work in the past couple of videos, but we need to put all of this work on the road. So let's go ahead and get the vet fired up. I got the battery hooked up already. I've already hit the carburetor, so it should be good to go. We're gonna hit choke, fuel, give it a shot of gas, wait a second, let that fuel pump prime, and oh, but she sounds so nice. So nice. Y'all, the vet is warmed up. We've got the camera mounted for a nice drive POV. I've got my speedometer up on my phone. I've got everything hooked up. Roll the window down a little bit because it is getting very toasty in here. And we are going to take the vet out on the road. This has been a long wait for this, and I am excited, especially with a clean car. Something about clean carpets. Here we go. I had to adjust my seat back. How she holds up here. We're just gonna take it around the block. Seemed to do okay there. I mean, it's only a 35 pull, so that actually wasn't too bad. Let's head over to Mexico here. Okay, we have arrived in Mexico, so we need to be a little nice because there are landscape companies out here right now, but woohoo! Yeah, nice 45. That was a little bit of tire spin. That was perfect. Not a single backfire. I forgot to mention I put 93 in the tank, so it's got some really nice gas, and it's probably loving every bit of that. Yeah, this thing hooks. I really like this car. I have put a ton of work to it in the past couple videos, and if I had a camera guy, I would be explaining it a little bit more, but it's just me and you today, and that's okay. Just makes for some fun driving around the block here. We are getting it prepped for the car shows coming up. We got one at the end of the month. I'm really hoping to make it to that hopefully is in the next video you guys see. So I'm going to do some more laps, and I will get back with you. Coming back around to our hard drift stretch here. And, we'll give it a little bit of love. Woo! I'd say that did pretty damn good. That did pretty good. Alright, I'm going to do one more pass, and then we're going to take it home because I am annoying all of the Mexican neighbors out here. do to it, we'll be ripping that exhaust off and doing something more fun with it. But we'll do a little lap here. She seems to hold the corners pretty good. I think one of the tires is a little lower than the other. I didn't check them too much. I just made sure they had decent air in them. So I might try to correct that before coming back out here. But all the gauges display good. Everything is reading correctly. So I am very happy with how far we have brought the vet. And ain't nothing like hearing that cam V8 scream. Minorly built small block Chevy, and boy does it yell at you. It lets you know. It reminds you every chance it gets. Anytime I touch the throttle, it's just wow, 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 wow. Oh dude, it's something else. So I'm gonna get her taken home, and oh, before we go home, we need to go get some fun little camera clips. Let's go find a nice sweet spot to take some pictures.
I've come to reclaim my due. You wore my throne while I was out, but darling, it was never meant for you. Guess who's back in the firelight? Tell the underlords to kneel. I'm the maestro of the madness. I'm the devil you can feel. You can shuffle ranks and titles, but it won't change what is mine. Cause the crown of smoke and shadows fits me perfectly in time. Polished up the torment halls, repainted all the screams. Adorable attempt at order in my land of broken dreams. But chaos has a rhythm pit, a wicked jazz divine, and every beat of brimstone still remembers that it's mine. So pack away the petty coots, your borrowed rain is through. I'm not here to ask permission, I'm here to take back what I'm due. Guess who's back in the firelight? Strike the band and sound the gongs. Clear the stage for your true master and the king of wicked songs. Let the upstarts quake and quiver, let the sycophants align. For the throne of smoke and shadows was designed with me in mind. Yeah!
Alright y'all, that's going to be the end of this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, make sure you smash that subscribe button, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think we should do to the vet in the next video or in later videos. I have a bunch of ideas. I know that we are looking at getting a fuel pump in the future to fix that fuel gauge, so it should be happening next week, if not in a couple weeks. But that sun is very bright. It's blinding me. I might take a nap right here. Kind of just enjoying the weather. It's very nice, and the vet looks super pretty out here, as you guys all saw. So if you enjoyed the video, like I just said, make sure you smash that subscribe button, make sure you smash that like button, and we will see you all in the next video. Give you a proper goodbye here. Hope you have a wonderful day or night, whatever it is for you guys, and we will see you all in the next video. Bye bye. You, hey you, yes you. If you want any merch from The Mischief, like this hoodie that I have on is coming very soon, you can go check out The Mischief Store at themischiefstore.com, and it's right here. It's also linked in the description, so make sure you guys go check it out. Everything's on sale, and there will be more stuff on there very soon. I know I keep saying the past couple of videos, but I promise it's coming. It's just taking a little bit longer than I expected, but it is coming. So make sure you guys go check out the website. Make sure you guys have a wonderful day or night, and we will see you all in the next video with a lot more fun, hopefully a lot more fun. That is the idea, but we will see you guys next week with hopefully a big project and a lot of fun. So until then, bye bye.